So how much blade retention, let me see if I can focus in again. How much retention does the knife have? And retention means if you open up the knife just a little bit, does it pop it back in by itself? Okay, so I can open up this scriptillion, it'll come back in to a certain point. This one I would say is pretty good. It's firm to do that. It's hard to kind of push open and it will go back. So that's good. What else? The paramilitary. Little less on this one, but you can see it kind of pop close. Blur. I didn't test these before, so see how those go. Decent retention. The Spyderco is not known to have, probably a controversial statement here, but known to not have the greatest retention. Good, but not the best out there. So let's take a look. So pretty low in pullback, but still good. I'm not concerned about that one popping open. So blade retention, ease of use, right? I mean, how does it feel in your hand? Is it easy to use? Is it hard to open? Is it hard to close? So a lot of the Striders, when you first get them, they're real hard to close the liner lock. I mean, you walk around with your thumbs busted up for 2 weeks using them usually, and that goes away. But do you enjoy using it? Does it feel good in your hand? Are your hands too big for the knife? Is the knife too big for your hands? That kind of stuff. So that plays a lot in it. And don't get deterred by some of these frame lock ones if they're hard to open at first. Typically there's a break-in period required. Another one that you wouldn't think about, but I do, is the usage of the pocket clip. How good is the pocket clip? And I'm going to show you a really good one, and then I'll show you a not so great one. So the Spyderco has a good pocket clip. See how the titanium clip goes all the way against the titanium scale? It's a touching point here. There's some openness here. There's an extra gripping part here for jeans. It's a low carry knife. This is a good firm clip. It is a little thin, but it's snug. Your knife's gonna not pop out. The Kershaw ones are notoriously firm. This one's kind of this is a Skyline. It's a big fat clip. You can see the clip is touching against the scale. These ones are actually, I can barely even pull it up with my thumb there. I think these are actually a little too firm. They're hard to place on your pants or jeans, whatever. But so this is a firm clip. Like another good one, I always like the paramilitary one here. That one works good. Again, the clip is touching against the scale. Not too firm, but very secure. The Striders are kind of the same way, etc. Let's see here. So another example of a poor clip design, which I don't like at all, is this Spyderco Native. It's a good knife, and I highly recommend it, but if you look at the clip here, you can see that it's not touching the scale at all, and that just translates to be a knife that could come out of your pants pretty easily there. So a lot of these can be fixed, right? You can take the clip off, you can bend it, whatever, you can reshape it, but honestly, I mean, if I'm spending my money, I don't really want to do that. I know it's easy, right, but I'm a little particular about it. I don't really want to work on my knives. So something to think about. This one's small enough, I sometimes pocket carry anyways. Okay, what else? Ease of repair. I mean, can you work on the knife yourself? I mean, some of these Striders require specialized tools because the pivots are done a different way. Some of the Spyderco comes with its own tool to use, and it's not that big of a deal, but looks like it's mainly Torx anyways. But is it more mechanical, or these assisted opening ones are kind of harder to work on if you fully take it apart and all that stuff? What else? The Umanzan has its own tool required for that one. Something to think about if you're actually out in the woods and whatever, and you need a knife and it breaks down. Do you have the tool to work on it? Okay, so I think that's about kind of the points that I look at when buying a knife, and I'll just kind of repeat. Look out for blade wiggle. How centered is the blade? How even is the sharpness? Is there any shiny points on the blade? On that blade edge? The lock straightness, or how high is the quality of the lock? Is it pushed over too far to the right, for example, when looking at it? Blade retention, ease of use, ergonomics, ease of repair, and then kind of the pocket clip and retention. And lastly, you know, it's an obvious thing, is how big is the knife, how much does the knife weigh, is it bulky, you know, is it a good fit for you? So most people know that one. I would say that there are some things that these are more personal preferences as well. I would consider these things to avoid or consider or think twice about. And I'm not saying these things suck or are bad. It's just my personal preference is, after collecting for a while and learning more about knives, I'm now shying away from these things. And just again, my personal opinion. But things that I'm moving away from are black blades, black coated blades. You know, they're not bad. Some manufacturers do them better than other ones, but honestly, I just think a satin finished blade is better looking. Or satin finished or stone washed blade is better looking, wears better, shows less marks, and I think you're going to have a higher resale value if you go with this style of blade. So again, I'm moving away from black blades. I still think they're cool looking at times, but again, moving away from those. The any kind of unique knives or specialized components of it, and maybe start over. I'm kind of moving away from tanto blades, or tanto, however you want to say it. So they are cool. You know, I have a couple of them. I would say I probably won't be buying those again. It's just that actually, for me, the usage of the knife it kind of makes it difficult. I know they may have a stronger point and everything, but I feel like you lose some of the blade length and practicality in using them. You just kind of have to use them differently. So probably won't be buying too many of those. I generally like the ones that I have, and the one exception where I think there is a great tanto blade is the Emerson CQC 7. So that's kind of my favorite tanto blade I have. But I don't think I'm going to be buying this blade shape anymore. So what I would say I'm also moving away from are serrations. I have some on my knives. Again, I don't like the fact that I feel like I'm losing some blade length and overall cutting surface, or have to change the style in which I cut. Again, they're okay, but not going to be looking at buying those again anytime soon. Another thing that people often talk about in forums and obviously YouTube videos is, some people may think about this. I'll put it out there, but I personally don't care about this too much, but that's the tip up, tip down dialogue, the reversible clip. I don't care too much about that stuff. I have a preference of tip up, but it's not by much. So anyway, something to think about. And I don't know. Lastly, I would say any knife that might be overly unique or specialized, or maybe more artsy and have lots of unique curves or handle styles, or I kind of shy away from anything that's overly showy or wild colors. So again, personal preference, things I'm just looking at moving away from in the future. I may dump some that I currently own that I'm just not liking so much anymore. So hopefully that's helpful. Some tips in buying knives, either for EDC or collectible knives. Thanks everyone.